On March 22nd, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library will be hosting their third annual local author fair. Several local authors will be stopping by the library to communicate with readers, fans, and aspiring authors to share their wisdom and their inspirations. Children's author Sally Wenczel has built a reputation for crafting imaginative, heartfelt stories that resonate with young readers and encourage curiosity, empathy, and creativity. And will be at this year's fair to showcase her newest book, Professor Buttonbush and the Shoreline Rescue. Sally joins us on the Splash Live to tell us more about what we can expect from her appearance. Sally, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. Thank you for having me and for showing my book. It's amazing.
Of course, always looking to highlight these incredible stories. We have an image of your book right now on your screen if you're watching on Civic Center TV, and lots of great things to come with this local author fair. How did you get involved with this year's author fair?
Well, I was in the first author fair 3 years ago, and it was wonderful. You have to apply and be accepted, and I was thrilled that they wanted me to join. A year went by. I didn't apply last year because I didn't have any new material. I was just kind of in a slump, I guess. I just kind of put it on the shelf. And then this year got motivated to apply again and was thankfully accepted. So I go to the library a lot. I live within walking distance, so I literally cut through the forest to get there. So I'm a frequent visitor, and I really keep in the loop of what's going on, and I talk to the librarians a lot. So I was really excited that they're doing it again, and that I got accepted. So
yeah, this is growing into one of the biggest, one of the very most look forward to events with the West Bloomfield Library year after year, highlighting all of these incredible authors and the work that they do to inspire young readers. So I got to ask you, Sally, what inspired you to become a children's author, and how did your journey first begin?
Oh boy, I saw that question that you sent me, and I thought about it all day yesterday. And really, you go back to, I started journaling when I was like 16, 17, and just never stopped. I have this big box of writing from over all these years. And then in college, became an English major with a focus on journalism. And I always sketched on the side. I never really had any formal training. And then when I moved to West Bloomfield, I was really posed with an environmental problem when I moved to this lake. And I realized very quickly that art and story is really a great way to communicate with people. It's hard to change people's way of thinking. So I had this I was searching for environmental solutions for the little lake that is suffering that I live on. And it just really, I just kind of went with the flow of figuring out how to solve this problem in a creative way rather than having these tough conversations or, relying on laws and ordinances to help people to think more environmentally. So story and art really became a solution for me. And I started with my little rain garden book. That was the first one. And then a coloring book, and now this shoreline book. So it's kind of building off of each other.
It's great to hear of all the ways that you're working to get your message across and to get people more concerned and to be caring about the environment with all of your work. That is fantastic. Now, with your book, with many of your stories, they resonate strongly with young readers. How do you decide what messages to feature in the books that you create?
Well, sitting down and staring at the water, I noticed that I look at all the critters and creatures. My kids and I, every spring they come back. They're muskrats and herons and turtles. We've got bass. We have several kinds of fish in the lake. We've got owls around here because the nature preserve is right next door. So, it's kind of a common thing to anthropomorphize animals in children's books and to, give them human characteristics. So, it's easier for me to draw plants and animals than humans. I cannot draw faces very well. So that really, for me, reading books to my kids, seeing what stories they like, helped me to translate this message through the characters I created. And Professor Buttonbush, he's a green frog. He's a professor of ecology. There he is, and he, you know, in the first line is, "In the shade of the shore, it's never a bore. Just take a closer look, like look down in there and investigate, become a scientist." Amidst the dark, gnarled roots, mud, moss, and flower shoots lives a green frog reading a book. And so he's smart, and he's got piles of books in his little house, and it's giving life and giving life to this otherwise, I guess, something that kids might ignore. So now they're going to look and take a magnifying glass and look a little more closely at these creatures around them.
Get people looking outside, investigating what's right in their backyard, or maybe along the creek or by the pond. See what wonderful things there are with the flora and fauna around your community. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with author Sally Wenczel, who's going to be involved with this year's local author fair with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. And you're going to be meeting a lot of young readers, a lot of people looking to hopefully one day get their own book published and to share their own stories. My question, Sally, what advice do you typically offer, what feedback do you typically offer young readers who maybe want to go into writing stories themselves?
Just keep writing, keep drawing. You know, there comes a point where, you know, we give kids paintbrushes and markers and art supplies for their birthdays, and then does that stop at some point because we need other things? You always have to leave that little bit of space in your life for creativity. And if you really love it, you'll keep doing it. But I say, I got these are really old, these paintbrushes. These were my grandfather's paintbrushes.
Oh, wow.
And he used to let me paint his basement walls. He was a plumber, and he got a little wacky crazy when he was older and just like became an artist. And we used to paint the walls in this bathroom, and we did like these fish and aquatic scenes. And so I hold on to these, and I actually try to use these. I think I used these a little bit in Professor Buttonbush just to put that energy in there, these old brushes. But I say, you know, write about the things you're doing. And that's reinforced in school. You know, the kids do journaling and assignments. And I think art and writing and creation is such a great way to, well, relieve stress. With everything going on in the world, like you can really put those emotions into your project and to your art form. But with kids, they're so blunt and frank and honest. They're almost brutally honest, and they're my biggest critic. And I love when they come to my table and, well, what's that? How'd you do that? What does that mean? And just straight, and you have to, they challenge you to give them the best answer. They just kind of reach inside of you and bring it out. It's a lot of fun.
They have you thinking on your feet a little bit, maybe throwing you questions you weren't typically expecting, but I think that just shows the interest in these kids and how much they want to learn about what you do, Sally, and about what everyone does for the local author fair coming to the West Bloomfield Library on March 22nd. And with so many established authors from the local community being featured, what does it mean to you personally to be recognized and invited to participate in local author fairs like this one?
I am so thankful and honored. And I know how hard the staff under the leadership of Kathy Russ, who I know personally, she runs a solid team over there. And they're always so innovative to create these kind of programs and welcoming, trying to draw people in of all ages. Like they've nailed it, especially with the middle group, like the teens, where the tweens and the teens, where you sort of start to lose kids in other activities, but they've really brought them in, and the little babies, all the way up to seniors. I mean, their programming is outstanding. And I feel really honored and lucky to be a part of that community and to be brought in. And I'm excited to meet, I don't know any of the authors on the list this year. I was hoping I would. So I'm excited to swap ideas with them and The one who I was hoping would be there, I met her 3 years ago, Caroline Kerfoot, and she's in the Southeast Michigan local author circles. And from her, I wanted to thank her for teaching me that I needed a wagon. You have to have a wagon when you go to all these events, because I'm carrying boxes and toting my stuff around and making 5 trips to my car. And I see her roll up gracefully with this beautiful wagon full of all her stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I need to get that. You learn as you go along. And I think bringing all these people together, we are exchanging ideas and, oh, well, how did you find a publisher? Because, God, that's hard. Excuse me, to get into that whole world of finding an actual publisher. I'm self-published thus far. So we'll see how it goes. It's a really exciting event.
It sure is. And your friend is right. Always good to be prepared for whatever is to come. Bring that wagon and make sure you're ready for everything with the local author fair. Sally, I got one more question before we wrap things up today. As we know, you're going to be showcasing your newest book, Professor Buttonbush. Can you give us maybe some insight on some other ideas you're working on and maybe what we can expect from you next?
Oh, boy. Gosh, lately I just feel like picking up my old guitar and playing campfire songs. I feel like we all need to sit around in a campfire together and be together as a community, just everything that's going on in the world, But honestly, this keeps coming back to me. It keeps coming back about, I'm inspired by Swamp Thing, and I actually have it right here because you had this question for me. So Alan Moore, he's one of my favorite comic writers, and he picked up this character after someone else created it in the early 80s. And he's just brilliant. And, we've got a lot of swamps around here. I've been dealing with this cyanobacteria algae issue as this problem I'm trying to solve, like swampy, sludgy, it's something about swamp. So and then learning about the black swamp down by Lake Erie. So I'm seeing something with sort of maybe a darker side to it, a little bit scary. Just who knows? That keeps coming back to me. So maybe something about our wetlands and some kind of creature that lived in them, or Professor Buttonbush too. But we'll see.
Well, we can't wait to see what's to come, Sally, and we can't wait to see you out at the local author fair in just a couple short weeks. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you, Jake. Always nice to see you guys.